What's going on, guys? BladeZilla here, and I've got a juicy special knife for you guys today. This is the MidiQ from Shirogorov Custom Division. Currently, I believe there's not many of these floating around, but the series is going to be 100 pieces for this Custom Division knife, or CD, which will show it's written on the blade. And this is what we're going to be talking about today. So sit down, relax. Lots to go over. Hopefully it's not too long today, as I actually don't have a ton of time today, but I am going to try to get this one knocked out because it's just such a gorgeous piece, and I think it should be up online as soon as possible for the world to see this gorgeous knife. So let's start there and show this guy. Oh, gorgeous, stunning. Look at that knife. Oh, all right. As a reminder, check out BladeZilla.ca. That's my website, which has this knife on it currently. Literally just put it on 10 seconds ago. So there you go. MidiQ Custom Division. Also lots of other stuff. Protex, Microtex, CKFs. Lots of good stuff. And obviously tons of Shiros, some Kunus. Lots of stuff. Anyway, BladeZilla.ca. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to take a look at this gorgeous knife. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a beer, coffee, water, whiskey, whatever you want to take the edge off, pun intended, to enjoy this piece. So as a refresher, I have posted the MidiQ sprint run video, which was probably, a week or two ago now. And that video did really well. Got a lot of views, a lot of interest on it. And quite frankly, everyone was asking for this knife. They're saying, well, that's great that's a sprint run. You know, only 30 pieces. Not a lot of people are really going to be able to find that knife. And it was kind of hidden in the coattails of the Custom Division version. So this one was launched and everyone went gangbusters nuts for it. And then the sprint run was kind of just in the background and no one... I still don't even know if they put any specs out on that knife. So everyone was looking at this one, and rightfully so, because just look at it, guys. It ticks all the boxes for the inner Shirogorov enthusiasts that we all are. And I don't know what's missing on this one. They did it really well. And the ano is just gorgeous. Everything's just stunning on it. So apologies in advance if this video does go long, because I have been known to do that. So let's start with measurements. But I think it's 90 mil still. But let's just take a look. Measurement-wise, what are we coming in at here, boys and girls? On the blade, we're coming at 3 3/4, roughly. So smaller than a Neon. Bigger than a Neon, smaller than an F95. So 3 3/4, roughly, or 90 mil sharp. Handle length-wise, we're coming in at 4 5/8, 4.5, somewhere in there. And overall length, 8 1/4, something like that. So there you go. There's your measurements. People always need to know. We should weigh it, as I don't have a weight on this, and I'll actually update the description, but I am assuming it's sub 4 ounces, because why wouldn't it be? Then we'll do some comparisons and talk about it, because this is exciting. This is honestly very exciting. Okay, let's zero this guy out. And any guesses? 3.7, 3.5, 3.4, 3.4. 3.4 ounces with that kind of blade on it. I can't remember what the sprint run weighed in at, but this one obviously would be lighter because of the material taken out, right? So on the titanium handle itself, obviously there's some material removed, as you can see, right, which is gorgeous. We've got the flipper tab, which has some milling inside it, also gorgeous. And then the pierced fuller on the blade, which is MagnaCut. So lots of things to talk about. Let's first start with fit in hand, and we'll kind of go down the road. So it's thin, 3.4 ounces. It's a light knife. It's thin. It's almost the perfect size for a lot of the comparables. So we'll walk through that, but it's a perfect size. I have an extra large hand, and it fits me flawlessly. So if you're a Stellar person, like if you like the Stellar, this is going to be perfect for you. Oh, gorgeous. Jimping just on the right spot. Your thumb just finds it perfectly. The blade's angled up actually at that point. I don't know if you can see that. It's just got a nice little angle up on it, and then it falls off beautifully. And as you walk down that blade, it expands towards the tip. That's what she said, nice and comfortable. That pierced fuller is gorgeous, and as you can see, that Custom Division logo is nice and visible there as well. Just stunning. I'm not going to reverse flick this or thumb flick it. I've seen people do it online, meaning you can launch it out from here or reverse flick it from the back. So it's absolutely doable. It's on bearings as well, single row roller bearings. And if anyone's had Shirogorovs in the past will know that that's where the absolute money is, both in price tag, pun intended, but in terms of feel, it's just money. It feels so good and smooth. And if we look at how the bearing system would work on Shirogorov, you know, single row bearings is standard, right? Circle with balls in the track. Multi-row bearings are their high-end production, which is kind of a pinwheel, 3 balls in a row in a track. Then you get into these guys, which is single row roller bearings, which think of them as needle bearings, kind of off like, you know, rays of sun. And that's to add that stability side to side between the frame and the blade. So gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Aside from it being ridiculously smooth and controlled, and people just like love the Shiro feel, like they float, because you can essentially just take it and park it anywhere along its path like this, in its most leveraged spot, and it won't drop. And then a little bump and it will float home. So just gorgeous. And then, obviously, so we've got that beautiful pierced fuller, which everybody loves. You know, Magna Cut, which is still, I'd say the jury's out if everyone loves Magna Cut, but if it's heat treated right, it's a fantastic steel. And then you add the RPC, rotatable pocket clip, that was found on some of the Mini Quantums. And that has become a feature where, as soon as I saw that, I go, you got to put that on more knives. So a knife like this, where it's small, right, and you want to put it on delicate dress pants, etc. There's like a little ball underneath that opens up, and the pocket clip, you can kind of open and position it on your pants, and it clips home. It's a very nice little feature, and it's spring-loaded, so it can move around as well, but gorgeous. And while this is unclipped, I do want to just show you the milling behind this clip, which I did do in the sprint run video, but look at that. That's behind the frickin' pocket clip. Out of the way. You don't even need to see it, and it's done so well. And also, just like the sprint run, they numbered each underneath the clip. And I think I spent 5 minutes looking all over that knife for where it was, so I just want to kind of show you. There you go. I don't know if you can see that or not. CD 2403, number 5. Nice and hidden, and once again, that'll be another area that's just gorgeous to look at on camera. Looks really nice. So pretty cool, but also a nice little Easter egg on where to find the serial number on those. Because it took me, a veteran Shiro guy, quite a while to find that. And I had never really... I was like looking inside underneath the backspacer, trying to pierce through the light, trying to see inside, and anyway, it's on the rotatable pocket clip. Now, the hardware on these, as you guys know, that's a cap. It's not going anywhere. But, being a custom division, you need the custom division tool, which, is that beside me today? Oh, baby, it is. There we go. Which is this. Custom division tool, also a work of art, individually numbered. They tend to be only available at shows, and when there are shows extra, I try to bring in as many as I can, but they're gorgeous tools, great to have. The main thing that you need from it is actually this reverse bit that's found on the custom division knives. And, it's just the kind of thing that there's a lot of workarounds to how to open that without the tool, and you'll just end up killing that hardware. There's no real point. So, just keep that in mind. Spend the money. This is right now anyway on the market. It's about a $6,000 knife, typically US. And if you're not willing to spend $400 or $500 on the tool, then maybe the custom division stuff isn't for you. But highly worth it. They last forever. Also beautifully made. and machined and milled and whatnot. So gorgeous tools, but definitely use the right ones. And then here we have the standard Shirogorov bit, which is work of art. And if you're watching in 4K, hopefully you can see all the milling lines on the hardware itself. And as I flip it over, we should see some on the other side as well. It's a gorgeous knife, honestly. We have the pronounced, I think I called them lightning bolt lines. I don't, get a spec sheet when I do these things, so I just kind of come up with whatever I say. But as you can kind of see, we've got 2 lines going down the length of the knife. And I'm trying to remember if the sprint run, off the top of my head, I thought the 2 lines went down together along this edge here, but maybe it didn't. But I'm going to check my notes here and just take a quick peek, because I did a little write-up on that knife, and I do want to know if that went all the way along. So bear with me while it loads. Let's take a picture. Oh, no, it was exactly the same. Yep. So it did only stop here. For some reason I thought I went all the way down. Sorry about that, but obviously it's kind of got a satin ano behind it, which looks really nice. Pops off the blue. Very, very gorgeous. The whole knife just has a nice blue touch to it. But on both sides, those 2 lines run the length of it, other than the bottom one there, which is fine. It looks real nice. The clip is matched with the backspacer, I believe. Yep, which is obviously 3D milled, titanium, and anode, which is always what I love. Just match the backspacer with the clip. It's just like a rule. We have the spot here for the lanyard hole, and it's kind of hidden from the side angle, which just from the side with it open, it looks, look at all the gaps, all the holes in this knife, right? In the fuller and the frame, you see right through it. Hey. But nope, absent is the hole for the clip on the lanyard holes, which is fine. God, this pierced frame, if that's what we're calling it, a pierced frame or a window frame, whatever, that is really growing on me. It just matches the geometry and proportions of the fuller on the blade real nice. Wow, gorgeous. Back to the lanyard. Whew, I need to focus. Get in the game here, BladeZilla. Yeah, it looks great. Lanyard holes, obviously you can access it and put your favorite beads in there, not a problem. And it's always good. I'm going to do a couple lineups and show some size comparisons here. And may as well. So what do we want to do? Let's do, I guess, I'll just kind of put it in the middle, I guess. And we'll do some comparisons. So let's do the Stellar. Well, let's do Neon first. Neon. There's your Neon. And I guess actually up top is probably where I should do the comparison. Move this down. So there's your Neon, the smallest Shiro, which is a really, I think, an undersold knife because it's just gorgeous. Great size. It's basically like a Shiro flipper bug out for size, of which I don't even know where my bug out is. Once again, it took me a month to find my my Stellar, and I found that in the wife's glove box of her car. Don't know why it's there. She's probably trying to hoard it from me because she loves it. And the Neon, great size. Absolutely great size, but I don't know where my bug out is, which is the comparison that I use to show the Neon. So really, really nice. Now let's grab that Stellar, which I finally found. And there we go. There you go. There's your Stellar. Almost a perfect match for size. And this is their most recent, up until the Astrum, which I don't think they've done a full production on yet at the time of filming this. I don't know if that's going to change by the time it's released. Things change at Shirogorov very quickly, but as it sits right now, when I'm filming this, this is their latest full production knife, and you can kind of see some design elements, right? The bear on the heel of the handle. Love that versus it being on the blade because of the cutting path, but gorgeous. So there's the Stellar. And then we go up into the F95 or Hattie, would be this one, which is quite a bit bigger, but carry-wise, not that much bigger. And this one is a CCKS, I think 2021 Hattie with the copper backspacer, super nice. And just a gorgeous knife. And always like to have a Hattie in the case just to kind of show. We can do the recent Loxa as well for comparison. At the time of filming this, I have one on the site currently that I second sourced and brought in. That video just posted about a week ago did really, really well. And super sick knife, unbelievable knife on that one, but you know, a lot bigger than the MIDI. But just as highly collectible, and actually, they say there's going to be 100 of these. I think there's like 10 right now available. They say they made 100 of the Loxas, and I know for a fact there's not. So really cool knife on bearings, or not on bearings, sorry, it's on bushings, but just a gorgeous knife. Shiro's first integral, so I managed to find myself one, and now I've got one in the case that I'm going to show for comparison's sake, because, hey, why the heck not? We've got some other ones here we'll show. We'll do the R.J. Martin Russian Overkill, which, you know, still roller bearings, full tie handle, but it's an R.J. Martin. We can do the Cami, actually, which is a nice, fair comparison size-wise, almost the same size, but a little bit more petite. A little bit more, but not by much. Just a little bit smaller. Also super cool. I think I did a video on that one at some point. I don't know if it was this one or what, but I liked it so much I ended up adding one to the collection. Super cool. We can do the Bio as well. Where is my Bio? It's hiding on me, but that's okay. While I look, I'll throw this guy and look in the case. There's your full tie Dr. Death for size. And I think I found my Bio in the case. Where did it go? No, maybe not. I swear I'm going blind. There we go. There's my Bio. So I gotta organize these better. There's the Bio. Also, gorgeous knife. Love the Bios. Sinkovich design. Absolutely beautiful knife. And do we want to see Quantum? Sure. Let's do. I've got my E-Knives Quantum, a direct competitor, so that's why I don't show it, but it's also available for me to show. So there you go. There's your E-Knives Quantum. Super cool. Kind of prefer the Monkey's Edge one, but also really cool. Same thing. Same as the Monkey's Edge. But Monkey's Edge Quantum, come on man, look how much better this is. Look how much cooler it is. First of all, single row bearings versus multi-row, and the pattern's frag. Everyone loves frag. Fun fact, this Monkey Edge Frag Quantum, this knife was my first Shirogorov I ever got to experience. And I just feel like I had to have it. Sick action, but that's now multiple years old now, but a little different than the MidiQ, as it's an entry-level knife, versus this being a very high-end, very fancy knife. So there we kind of showed the three sizes. I don't have a 111. That's not brand new, so I'm not going to open a brand new one to show a 111. But it is a lot bigger than the other guys. I guess I do have an F3 here as well that I've been holding on to. I'll show that. Just the G10 Burley F3. I should probably get an F3NS in the case at some point here. But there's your size comparison as well, for anybody who wants to see that. There you go. Two different leagues, obviously, but just given that it's custom division versus full shebang. Let's grab a large Sebenza as well, because I know everyone will always ask for the large Sebenza, and I almost always never throw it in the videos. So there's your large Sebenza, guys. Very, very similar size-wise. And I would actually argue the MidiQ is a thinner knife. So let's just show that. So very similar size-wise. Let's look at the thickness-wise. There you go. The MidiQ's got it beat. Keep that in mind. So food for thought. It's a really good size knife. Really good size. It's a lot of people are saying it's what the Quantum should have been. I've heard that. I'm curious if and when this will be a production knife, because people love Quantums. You know, it's right from the bottom right to the top in production. They make them in all kinds of different configurations. And as far as I know, it's the only design Shirogorov has ever done 3 sizes on. Just think about that for a second. You know, like, they've done the Mini Quantum, the MIDI Quantum, and now the Quantum. So that's 3. I don't think they've ever done a 4th, like a 111 size, like a Maxi Quantum. Maxi Q sounds a little bit like a feminine product, but I'd still buy it. The Maxi Q, totally would. That'd be interesting. That'd be a sword. Sword and a half. I don't know why these things come to my brain while I'm talking about the MIDI, so I'd like to kind of just back the bus up and apologize. So let's get back on track and look at some of the design elements on this. So, as I mentioned earlier, we have the Shiro Bear now on the heel of the handle, and we can kind of see as well, a lot of the same milling that was on the Sprint Run is obviously found here in those horizontal lines that kind of start a little more coarse down at the hardware and kind of taper off and become more fine, almost very fine above the bear's head. And it's going to be hard to show because it's such a fine focal field. It's micro milled like crazy above the bear's head. Very, very thin, almost at the same level as like the hardware on the knife. Very micro milled. Super, super sick. I love as well that there's another little Easter egg. I don't know if there's a way to show this a little better. If it's underneath, no, it doesn't matter. The inside of the flipper tab is also milled out, and is a real nice little Easter egg. So I love that type of detail on these knives. I always appreciate it. Just gorgeous. Both sides as well. Keep that in mind. And then as I flip it over, same kind of patterning on the inside, right? The fine milling. And then it kind of goes back a little differently underneath the clip and whatnot, but gorgeous. And then I already showed this, but I'll show it one more time. The milling underneath the actual clip is just to die for. Highly worthy of some IG photos or whatever. Just looks so good. Oh, stunning knife. The details, otherwise, it's very quantum-y, right? So you still get the bevels and the milling on the inside of that flipper tab, so that when you flip it back, you don't hit an edge. You still have the pinched kind of frame that's becoming a little more popular, but also was made very popular on the Quantum full size on the inside. It definitely leans more towards the Quantum full size in terms of design elements, obviously, than the Mini Quantum. To me, it's just a scaled down Quantum, and very different than the Mini. But I would have to wonder what a Mini version of this would look like, because as you know, the Mini Quantum is just a completely different knife all the way around. So just keep that in mind. And it's also, just thinking out loud here, is this Shiro's only mid-size frame lock? Help me out here, guys. No, the Cami's a frame lock, but the Mini Quantum was not a frame lock. That was a inset lock. The Mini, and then I'm just trying to think here out loud. What else is it? What else is a frame lock that's in the medium size? The Stellar is not, obviously. Food for thought. Just different, right? Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. On the inside of this, let's grab my light and take a look inside. But I recall on the inside of the SR, it had gone through a course of Jenny Craig, and this is no different. Huge pockets of milling all over the place. Is it floating? Nope, it's not. Huge pockets of milling, gorgeous. And if you ever get to take the look inside one of these, I did mention this in the other video. I said you know, there's a channel in here called Fab Blades on YouTube. He takes a lot of these apart. Also, apparently a really good guy. And just huge appreciation for the brand as well. I would love to see him take apart one of these midis and show all these Easter eggs and cool design elements, because a lot of them on the inside are as well done on the inside as the outside, or in some cases even better. And you know, design elements on these are just to die for. So I would love to see the inside of this. But having these windows kind of looking around inside, you can kind of get an idea of what they're like, and they're just gorgeous. Absolute insane level of detail, always found on the inside of these. Some other things, let's take a look at that lock bar. So we obviously have an over travel stop if it's a frame lock, and a metal lock bar insert, which is done really, really nicely. Very light on the lockup, which is pretty standard for Shiro. And it is in fact raised. So I always like to show this. It's not raised by much, but it is raised a little bit. So I always like to show my Hattie here, because it's A, the one that is like usually the closest to me, and B, is really obvious to show what I'm talking about. But look at the lock bar on this and how it, when I roll the knife, it's literally 5 millimeters higher than the other side. So your thumb finds it really easily when you're a righty. And Shiro's always done that on just about all their knives, and this one being no different. It's just a little bit more subtle, more in line with the Quantum design than the F95 design, right? Nice swooping profile instead of the big thumbs kind of zone to land on. Also worthy of noting is just the milling on there is incredibly done well. Looks beautiful. You see that flipper tab? It's kind of stuck out. Oh, gorgeous. Just overall, a really nicely done knife. That CD logo, oh, gorgeous. You know, I just really dig, like, I didn't think I would. I thought I'd really prefer the sprint run because it's more classic in the, you know, plain Jane tie, beautiful milling work, but it didn't have the pierced fuller or the window of the frame. And having it here is certainly nice to see. It's just different. Like, you can have two different flavors of the exact same knife, which is always just kind of cool, right? This is why we get into the collectibles, right? We always want to see two different flavors of the same knife. So I always appreciate that. Action-wise, because this one is literally brand new, they usually take a few hundred flips to kind of break in. And I have heard they're kind of putting a little bit more of a waxy kind of lubricant on there. That takes a little time to break in, but just keep that in mind on some of the custom divisions. They're not as drop shutty, so if you do want to kind of take them apart and put in like a really lightweight oil on the bearings, it would immediately improve the action, but there is a little bit of a wear-in period on a lot of the custom divisions, but most people, they don't open them just because they're done super, super well, typically. Speaking of which, look at the tolerances on that. Dead center blade. Super, super tight aerospace grade tolerances as well. And look how far that blade goes to the edge. Oh my god. Just insane levels of detail that you just don't typically see on a lot of knives these days. You know, the one thing that people will comment on is how that backspacer doesn't go all the way down the blade. And I get it, but I think that's part of the assembly process on how they kind of set that as a shelf in there. And that's found on just about every model. There's always a little gap in front of that backspacer. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. But overall, definitely highly worthy of any collection. The windows on both the blade and the frame are just growing on me big time. And that in conjunction with this mirrored edge that just pops right out at you right away is a little bit, it'll make you go a little crazy. Beautiful size. I would love to see how and if they do this as a production level model, because that would be super cool. I guess the one thing that I could say that is kind of annoying on this that I don't know even if anyone's going to care is that when you set it down on a flat, perfectly flat board like this, it falls back. That's the only thing that I could actually say from a design standpoint. People like knives that sit flat, flush. When you put the blade out, obviously that fixes that problem. From a weight distribution perspective, I guess it does something there. But it obviously has everything to do with this clip and how it's actually elevated from the frame. But whatever. I guess that's all I can really say. From a pure Shirogorov enthusiast whore like myself's perspective, I think that it ticks all the boxes. You know, the window and the frame I didn't think I was going to love. I think it's absolutely phenomenal in person. The blue, Shirogorov does blue ano better than anybody else in the market, I find. The pierced fuller looks terrific, and as I'm looking at it now, we definitely have a satin flat on it, and actually it looks blasted on the inside of it as well. And it's not a direct cutout, it's kind of tiered, and that looks terrific. And as I show that pierced fuller like this, you can kind of get another perspective on the milling that's actually on the inside of it. There you go. When I kind of roll it, you can see there's milling on the inside of the pierced fuller. That's nuts. And then blasted on the inside as well. So there's like 3 different finishes on this blade. Absolutely gorgeous. The only thing that I would love to see more of is some details on the inside of this. And I'm sure, give it a week or 2 or a month, I'm sure we'll see somebody take one of these apart and show what's going on the inside of this, because that would be a mystery that I'd love to check out. Otherwise, I think I've kind of covered everything. We talked about that retrievable pocket clip, the MagnaCut blade, the captive pivot, obviously, the skeletonized flippers, tie back spacer matched to the clip, the ridiculous tolerances, the fact that it's beautiful in every way and highly worthy of anyone's collection, and individually numbered to 100 now instead of 50 on the custom division. That's kind of a CDX onward lineup change. So, you know, I think the value, you should be able to, you know, some of those Astroms, geez, they were going north of 7 because you couldn't get them. So hopefully this drives the price down and holds it around 6. You know, in a perfect world, like 2 would be great, but I don't ever see it going there again. It's not 2009. But you know what? I think a lot of people with the custom divisions are really comfortable on some of the older models, like in and around that 4.5 mark. Like that's, I think, what they're trying to hold. So you know, if they do 100 of the, oh, they are doing 100. It'd be great if that could hold at that. But just based on looking at these, like a mini Quantum is still $6,500 US, with 50 out there. So the fact that there's about 10 of these on the market currently, you know, it'll be holding north of 6 for a while. But a few years from now, who knows? Maybe they'll do a different version of it. Maybe they'll do a, who knows? Great knife. So fortunate to get to see this one. Just a spectacular knife. Definitely one of my favorites in the last little while that they've done in the custom divisions, and I've seen them all. And it's just different. Like, it's completely different having those pierced fuller in the window. Just completely different than the Astrom. And, you know, people love the Quantum. You talk to people who have had, you know, 20, 30 different custom divisions, they always keep coming back to how one of their favorites is the Quantum. CD Quantum, pick one of the 3. It's just done so well. And now we're adding another version, and I know it's going to do well. I'm just certain of it, because people love it. It's done so well. Alright, well, I was kind of aiming for about 20 minutes on this, and I don't know what I'm at, but it's probably over 30. So I'm sorry on that, but sometimes you get a knife that you can just talk for an hour about and not really pay too much attention to the clock, because you kind of get lost. And this is definitely one of them. So appreciate you guys stopping by, checking out this gorgeous knife. Check out the store, BladeZilla.ca. And shoot me a note, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, throw a like on the YouTube video that is this. Subscribe, you know, every Monday, Thursday I try to get a video up. Long form video. and try to fill with shorts of whatever's kind of coming up. So there you go. There is your beautiful MidiQ custom division, and gorgeous knife. Get them while you can. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Have a great week. Peace.